Hello, friends. It's great to see you. It's Thursday. That means it's time for the Tarot Topics newsletter recap. Do you get the Tarot Topics newsletter in your inbox? If you don't, there is a link right in the description to read this week's newsletter, but also to subscribe so next Wednesday you'll get your own. So yeah, different topic each week. That's why it's called Tarot Topics. You get it in your inbox on Wednesday. We come here on Thursday and talk about it. This week's topic, hopes and fears. So I think a lot of you know that many traditional tarot spreads will have that as a position, hopes and fears. One position, hopes and fears. And just recently, that's always perplexed me, what a weird thing, right? But just recently, it occurred to me that hopes and fears are the same thing. You hope it will happen, you fear it won't. You hope it doesn't happen, you fear it will. And yet, hope and fear are not the same energy, right? So that's what we're playing with. That's what the newsletter's about. Let's do some questions. Let's do some readings about your hopes and fears. And as we hop on over to CardCam, you will see that I am working with Light Seers Tarot, the big one from the big box. And I see that some of you have noticed, and if you don't, if you don't like what you're seeing, blame it on Gemini Sun. Because just recently, I think a week ago, if Gemini Sun suggested something for a new members only emoji. Well, once I get round to making emojis, do you think I stop at one? No, I do not. So members, you have the requested, there it is, members only emoji. You also have a couple more. And your members' badges have changed. So your first year of membership, you have those cute little suns, and they change color by, first month, second month, 6 month, 9 month, whatever. When you get to a year now, you get a gold star. So if there's a gold star after your name, it means that you've been a member for at least a year, less than 2. You can see I lack a bit of imagination because if you've been a member for more than 2 years, less than 3, you've got a 2 after your name now. And if you've been a member for 3 years, and I can't believe it, but some of you have, you get a 3. So that's what we're doing. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't. And if you don't, we're all going to blame Gemini Sun because she started it. All right. Very good. Let's get going with our questions. Oh, Gemini, that's sad. Gemini, I'll send you a screenshot. I will send you a screenshot. Understood. And thank you so much for being a moderator. Really appreciate you. And, well, you know what? Okay, for those of you who aren't reading the comments, Gemini Sun said, so sad. I had to take a membership break due to finances, so I can't see them. You still did a good job. You still did a good job. And that should cause all of the members to want to go and use those new members only emojis now so Gemini Sun can see what she hath wrought. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, and tonight, not in competition with the presidential debate. The presidential debate starts at 9 Eastern. So at 7 Eastern, we have our members only live stream. So if you are a current member, do join us. We're doing deep dive readings. Can't wait to see you. And so there's that. So let us get going with our questions. Here we go. Here we go. Hang on a minute. Okay, there we go. Trey, I already know who I'm voting for. I'll be here instead. Well, if you need to do both, you can do me, take an hour break, and then do that. It's all good. It's all good. Ah, Cassandra, there it is. You got it. Perfect. All right, Gemini Sun, you are first up. I really enjoyed the newsletter. I'm pretty optimistic and practice positive self-talk, but still feel that my fears take over my hopes at times. What guidance do the cards have for me? So this is really about like managing fear and what you do with fear and all of that good stuff. And the thing I will say with the Ten of Swords reversed is I really believe that when fear comes up for you, you do a good job acknowledging it. Well, you can sit in it for a while. Okay. Like I was liking this, right? Like, okay, you're acknowledging it and then you can move on. Oh, but no, you acknowledge it, but you don't move on. You sit in it. And then you take it to a place of anxiety where we're now telling a story about the very worst thing that could happen and how it's all your fault. So yeah, you do a thing here. I think when the fear comes up, you can't shame yourself. Gemini Sun, accurate, right? Right? You can't shame yourself. You have to acknowledge that this is the case, that this is what happens. And we all have fear. Fear is a normal, natural thing. If you had no fear, you wouldn't be human. And anyone who says they have no fear is lying or gaslighting themselves, which is also lying. All right. So Gemini Sun, what you need to do is acknowledge the fear and say, yeah, that's normal to have that fear. And then stop feeding the fear. You feed the fear with your own worries that come from imposter syndrome, self-doubt, low self-esteem. That's what you feed your fear with. Stop feeding the fear and you'll get back to hope much more quickly. I think we could all use that advice, right? Don't feed the fear. There it is. All right. Melissa Grosso, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member for 2 years. See the advantage of those numbers, so good. And thanks for using members-only emojis. I'm curious to know what hope I have that is disguised as a fear. And how do I not let the fear hold me back? I think that you worry that you lose access to options and opportunities. And I mean, to some extent, with the passage of time, we do lose options and opportunities to some extent. I mean, that is a thing that happens. But I feel like the things that you want most in life, you have not timed out on. You have not aged out on. And so I think you fear the passage of time. I think that's what it is. And let's face it, we all do. We all do. But I think for you, you will find that the good things in your life are showing up right at the right time. And you need to trust that that indeed will happen. It hasn't always for you, but it will. All right. Madihan Ness, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members-only emojis. And thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. We appreciate you. My hopes and fears always get in the way of my intuition and everybody's. Yes, that is a real thing. I guess I just give too much value to both. Speaking of fears, I had Ace of Swords reversed 2 days in a row. Pulled an extra card about it today. I had Death reversed and the Seven of Swords. What's going on? Okay. So let me speak. Hang on 1 second. Cards on the ground. Okay. Let me speak for 1 second first to this thing about hopes and fears getting in the way of intuition. Let me speak to that for a minute to all of us. I write about it in the newsletter, but it bears more conversation. What we have to do any kind of intuitive work, any kind of divination, any kind of intuitive check-in, is we have to take our hopes, our fears, our desires, our anxieties, all of it, all of our attachments, and take them outside of ourselves. And like I have in my mind a box that I visualize, it's right here. And it all has to go in there or you can't, So that's an exercise we all need to do for sure. All right. Rant over. So, Ace of Swords, reversed 2 days in a row. Death reversed in 7 of Swords. What's going on with that? So it's something probably about trust or poor communication. What is it? I feel like it may be like very personal. Some very personal like family stuff. I don't know if it's extended family, if it's family you live with. I don't know if it's people you work with. I'm not sure. But like close stuff. And it's, do you feel trusted? Do you feel heard? Do you feel seen? Is there a way you're not feeling heard or seen? And if that is the case, what can you do to remedy that? That's where I would go with that. Let me know what you think. Hey, Joyce Ocean, good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right. Smile Soul 20, good to see you. Thanks for being here and thanks for being a member for 3 years. We really appreciate you. Karen Hendershot, you're up next. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. Okay, I have a large surgery coming up in about 2.5 weeks. I'm hopeful it will improve my current situation. I'm fearful it could make it worse. What do the cards say? Okay. Well, here's the thing. I feel like given the situation as it is, you have no choice but to do something. And obviously this is the thing that has been recommended. What do we think? First of all, in terms of how the surgery will be, well, it'll take you off your feet for a minute. It is a big surgery. I figure you're out of work, maybe you're on disability. There's a few weeks here where you're not doing much and not going to be feeling your best. And that's for sure. What will the net effect be at the end of the day? I don't think it's a perfect fix, but I don't think it makes it worse. I do think it makes it better. I do think it will be worth doing and you'll be glad you did it. That's what I think. We are all holding energy for you. We are all sending our prayers, prayers, magic, whatever it is each individual does, sending it to you. For sure. For sure. All right, Joyce Ocean, talking about hopes and fears. Justine, good to see you. Thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. And yes, I was wondering if you would notice that you made it into the newsletter. Yes. Anyone wants to know what Justine looks like if you haven't seen her? She's in the newsletter, sitting in the tech position, in the StaarCon pick. All right. Trey Cameron, good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. What do I need to be more hopeful about? And what do I need to not fear? And we will do that next. Let me just see the feedback from Karen. I fully expect a rough recovery, yeah. And I'm okay with the short-term recovery and scarring. I am terrified of being worse than I am now after I recover. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think this is going to work. I think it's going to do what it's supposed to do. I really do. All right. All right. So, Trey, you are up next. What do I need to be more hopeful about? And what do I need to not fear? I think you need to be more hopeful about the state of life, the universe, and everything. I'm not saying that you're a pessimist, but I think you can be a realist. And it's dangerous to be a realist on this planet right now. So I think it's just best for everybody to be more optimistic in general about everything, So there's that. And what do you need to not fear? I think you fear that you will not be able to have a decent life. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think that is your fear. And having nothing to do with you, but just having to do again with the state of the world, I understand. But there's every reason to believe that you can and will. So there's that. Karen, you are very welcome. All right. All right, who is next? It is A Penny for Your Thoughts. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. Okay, let's see. Hang on. I still have some fear regarding custody of my grandchildren. Hang on one sec here. Okay. Hang on. Overscrolled. Give me a minute. There we are. Got it. I still have some fear regarding custody of my grandchild. Is it necessary or have I one and I just don't know it yet? Let's take a look and see. You know, I feel like it's something that could be challenged multiple times. So the thing is, like, you may have it now, but it could be challenged. I think the thing you have to do here is just do the best you can every day. And, you know, day by day. This is a day by day one. And I think that is probably the way it should be. So just try to relax into that. Justine is talking about the picture from the newsletter. It's in the Star Corner, which is the article every week about StaarCon. And it's a picture of Stacy and Camille telling a ghost story in the Bardic Circle. Justine says, that ghost story was hilarious as shit. By the way, I thoroughly enjoyed that, as you can tell by the photo. Anyway, on this topic, I note that I've finally found some level of stability in daily living, that I'm no longer looking at my tarot cards app to make decisions like I'd been doing. Poor habit, right? I'm basically begun my hiatus from reading tarot altogether, and it feels really, really good, I'm surprised to say, and sad in a real way, right? Because what happens when we become dependent on the cards in a way that isn't healthy? We have to put them away for a while. I've done it. It's what we have to do. It's just part of self-care. Tarot's great self-care until it's not, right? And then it can be again. But I've come a long way and I feel very proud of myself for leading myself through the darkness all this month's past. Where am I with my hopes and fears now? Do my guides have any feedback for me and where I stand now? Well, that's a hard process and very well done. Very well done. It's like any tool, you know, you have to use the tool the right way or you might do damage. And so there it is. So when we look at that, Justine, I think you're doing great. We got the Fool. You are ready for a new journey. You're ready for stability. And you're learning to trust yourself on the day-to-day and handle things even in a difficult environment. And that is real healing. And that is really good. So well done. Febborn, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I'll ask verbatim to the newsletter. What are my hopeful fears that I must work on? I think it's all about writing, being who you are, and finding community around that. You're hopeful about it, but it's also scary for so many reasons. But you got to do it anyway, right? And you're doing it. Hey, Lumen, good to see you. D9, yeah, we're live. Von Ray, thanks for being a member for 3 years. Good to see you. Anne, thanks for being a member. Teresa, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. All right. Claire C., you are next up that I can see. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. We really appreciate you. My greatest hope is robust energy and health, so might it be. And my greatest fear is illness and loss of independence, right? What do I need to know from tarot regarding this? Well, we've got the Hanged Man reversed, which means that, Claire, you're being proactive in every single way you can be. I mean, some of this is luck of the draw, right? And there's nothing we can do about it. But in every way that you can be, you're being proactive to take care of yourself. Now, I think you just have to keep that optimistic mindset. And, the likelihood is you're good. You're good to go. So just keep it going. That's the key. Lumen, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I would like to ask that one of my hopes is to move into spiritual work, but fear of being seen in such a public way as I lean more toward privacy. I also fear not being financially secure from the work. How do I transcend this? It's an interesting question, right? As someone who lives that, it's an interesting thing. So first of all, the loss of privacy, I mean, on some level, privacy is an illusion anyway. And you can put up some guardrails that protect you. I think there's a deeper thing, which is that everyone who knows you will know. You go to the grocery store, whatever. Everyone who knows you knows you're the person who does that thing. And there are those who will judge you and be, ridiculous about it. And I think what you have to do is recognize that those people have no credence whatsoever. No credence at all. They don't deserve an answer. They don't deserve anything. So there's that. That's the thing. The financial piece, yeah, it's an issue for sure. But so's everything else. I mean, if you work for someone, you can get fired or laid off anytime. If you work for 1,000 people, they're not all going to lay you off at the same time. So hone your skills, get good at what you do, and believe in yourself, and go for it. All right. Let me know what you think about that. All right, and just reminding all the members, we have a members-only live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you can be here. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I'm still working on facing my fears head on, but they are still very challenging for me. Can I have some practical guidance on how to minimize the self-sabotage around my fears? That was an incredibly well-worded question. Just saying. When we talk about fear, there is always a way that we can logic ourselves to believe that the fear is valid and appropriate, and always a way that we can logic ourselves in the other direction to recognize that the fear is either something we can't do anything about, so why bother, or something we can control and we're not going to let happen, or even if it does happen, we trust that we'll have the skill and the ability to navigate it. So I think it's about using logic to tell the story to yourself of what it is that you fear in a way that makes sense and takes the claws and the teeth away from the fear. Does that make sense? Topeka, seems that you are right on time. All right. Here we go, D9. So good to see you. I was reassigned to a new team member who I think conspired to have me on their team so they don't have to work as hard. I miss my original team and wish to go back. Am I imagining things? Is my fear real? Okay, so the question is that why you were put on this team? I mean, I think there's some truth to that. Is there a way you could get back on the other team? I'm not sure. It may not be possible because I think that a case has been made that you are valuable to the new team. And so there it is. You can try, but I think you may be stuck here. I'm so sorry. And Lumen, thanks for that feedback. Interesting that the Queen of Pentacles came up. I get her all the time when I pull for myself. Yeah, and I love the Queen of Pentacles in this deck. I think the fear also stems from not having people in my life that acknowledge their spiritual power or don't believe that it's a thing. Dismissive or fearful of it, so they fear it in others. Yeah. And you're gonna, I hate to say it, but if you have people like that in your life, you may have to remove them. If they cannot behave themselves, you may have to remove them from your life if you're going to be successful. Because who needs that? Nobody needs that. That's disrespectful. So even if they don't believe it, they're going to have to keep that to themselves and keep their energy to themselves and not disrespect you. That's the thing. All right. Von Ray, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. We really appreciate you. I don't have a direct question for this topic, but may I have cards on this topic for me? So the things that you are most hopeful for in life, I think you have this relationship with hope where you really try to be hopeful and then some things go your way and that's great, but then some things don't and a lot of things maybe don't. And you're like, good God, it's there is this sense of working really hard for very little. But as hard as it is, you must continue to be hopeful and you must continue to work to gain that traction, because eventually you'll have the traction and you'll be your older self will thank your younger self for continuing to have hope, Von Ray. That's the bottom line. All right. Okay. Where are we? Here we go. Cassandra, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. Thanks for using members only emojis. I'm struggling to come up with something for this topic. What does the universe want me to know about my hopes and fears for my future? Well, when we look at sort of what you're dealing with, I think you literally have hopes and fears around how things go forward in your life. And there has been some hurt, and there must be healing there one way or the other in order to go forward. And the thing that you need to be most hopeful for is your own ability to make good decisions that serve you well. That's what you need to be most hopeful for. And the thing that you need to be most fearful of is that you will not trust yourself enough to do the things that you know are right for you. How about that? All right. Vaishali, good to see you. Thanks for being here. What are my fears that I need to overcome, and how do I overcome it? For hope, what do people around me or my higher self hope me to be? Okay, so let's work backwards. I think what people who care about you and your higher self They want you to see your intelligence and your ability to trust yourself. They feel like you're not trusting yourself, and they would like you to be able to trust yourself. And I think your fears, I think you have a lot of social fears. Fears having to do with dealing with other people and how other people perceive you. And I think that's really where there needs to be some work. And Kenshin, may I know about my hopes and fears, or is everything good now? High Priestess reversed. Kenshin, I feel like you've dealt with people saying disrespectful things to you. And that sort of creates where your fears come in. Like, what if those things are true? And so you need to recognize that your own self-perception cannot be based on other people being mean to you. Audrey M., yes, we've played with the badges and the emojis. Your star means you've been a member for more than a year. And we appreciate you and thank you for that. All right. Imi, good to see you. I'm always in fear that I'll never find the one and end up alone. What should I do? Well, I think like this is a fear that is put on us as if like being single is the worst thing ever, right? And I think it really does come from the patriarchy because it causes us to settle for the wrong people. So I would recognize what the source of that fear is and that the source of that fear doesn't really come from you. And the reality is, the likelihood that you'll end up alone is minuscule. The thing you want to be more focused on is making the right choice in terms of who you choose to be with in the long run. Oh, Kenshin, thanks for that. Oh, Claire C., this is good. My knee is sore, so I need to do the hangman position for a good stretch and more yoga too. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, who is next? It is Heather Roberts. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I have a very mundane hope and fear. I want to lose weight, but when I get on a roll, I tend to self-sabotage. So I think I'm afraid of the change. Do the cards have any advice? Well, let's dig into that, Heather. How do you really feel about the weight you carry? Yeah, there's a part of you that is comfortable carrying that weight. For whatever reason, it protects you in some way. And so, yeah, it's hard to get rid of that. Yes, you're on it. That's what I've got to say. You're on it. You have found the key. If you can figure out why, as much as objectively, of course, we would all like to be thinner, right? We would all like to weigh less. It feels healthier. It is healthier, of course. But yet there is some part of us that holds on to that weight as a protective measure, perhaps. If you can figure that out, then you will be able to achieve your goals here. I promise. Okay, Deepika. I've been focusing on my career a lot lately. Hang on one second. I've been focusing on my career a lot lately. Even though I hope for the best like anyone else, my fear often takes the charge, leading me to decisions based on fear. How can I overcome such fear of failure and not give up on what I'm working on? Because hope only takes you so far, and not getting results makes your hope go dull. I hear you. So let's see. The question is, first, your actual goal, the hope you have for your career, is it legit? Is it attainable? You've had it for a while. You've been working toward it. It hasn't been going exactly the way you want, that's true. But I think it is still attainable, and I think you're learning along the way. So I think what you have to do is when we look at failure, lack of success, fear of failure, I think you need to focus that differently. Like, what does success look like? What does failure look like? And what are the appropriate expectations? I think you have to manage your expectations. And I think if you can do all of that, you'll go where you want to go and do what you want to do. It will take time. You have to be patient. And there it is. Does that make sense? All right. And we've got DH. DH, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. We really appreciate you. What does the universe want me to know about my hopes and fears? Well, you're very good actually about turning your hopes into real things that you manifest. Like, you have really good ability for manifestation and for doing that energetic work. Remember that. That's a gift that you have. That's a tool that you have. Martha Vink, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. We really appreciate you. And thanks for using members only emojis. I'm off to a memorial, so I'll watch later. I often have unrealistic hopes, but I guess they're dreams, really. Like about building my special retirement home. Any guidance? Let's take a look. How do we know they're unrealistic? I mean, I think people tell you they're unrealistic, but are those people the arbiters of that? Are they special experts in these things? Like, I think you need to rethink what's realistic and what's not realistic. Everything starts out as a dream. Everything good, anyway. So, yeah, I would say maybe those things aren't as unrealistic as they seem. I'm saying to a person who has like traveled the world and done all kinds of amazing, amazing things. You are a doer of amazing things and you are a haver of wonderful ideas. Why not? All right. Teresa, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. And thanks for using members only emojis. We appreciate you. Can't come up with my own question today, but I hope you'll give me a reading on the tarot topic. Sure. So having to do with your hopes and fears. Teresa, I think right now your hopes are very much based on a good career outcome, and there's every reason to think that that is going to happen. So really, everything to hope for and nothing to fear. End of story. Susan Toklas, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I'm afraid I won't find a new home up in Ohio. Help me overcome this. Good use of members only emojis, Susan. Well done. It does feel like it's taking some time and energy to do this, but you'll find what you need, even if it's something temporary before something permanent. However you need it to be, you'll find what you need. It will be okay. It absolutely will be. Be flexible in what you think about. Be smart, be flexible. You'll figure it out. It will be fine. All right. So, that was Susan. Barbie Bird, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. And thanks for using members only emojis. Okay, Barbie Bird, I'd love to understand my hopes and fears better. What can you tell me about them? I think a lot of times, Barbie Bird, your hopes and fears, like in your own mind, are based on what other people have told you you should hope for and you should fear. And I think that you're just beginning now to figure out what is it that you really want. and to recognize that a lot of what's been put in you isn't really yours. So there's that. What do you think? Oh, Heather Roberts, this is smart. Regarding the weight loss thing, a lot of us have this issue, right? Hanging on to the weight makes me feel a part of this world, a mental thing, like I would float away. Or maybe better put, it used to ground me and I need to find a healthier way to feel grounded. This is especially true for psychic people, right? It's like we're called mediums, but a lot of us are extra larges. There's a reason. Barbie Bird, regarding weight loss, I've heard that speaking about it in terms of loss can trigger your sense of security because we don't want to lose anything. That's interesting. Audrey M., thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. What do your wonderful cards want to share with me about why I fear self-reflection relating to patterns of behavior? I think it's because you have had people in your past, in your childhood or earlier life or whatever, that would judge, would be critical, would judge you, and would be punishing. And so self-reflection does involve seeing where we could have done better as well as what we're doing well. We have to see the things about us that are our flaws. And I feel like you've not been taught that it's okay. You know, I feel like you've got maybe some real trauma here, like as a child being corrected by adults or something of that nature. I wonder about that. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. I know, Barbie, we've been together for a year. I love that. Okay, let's see. Joyous Ocean. We're called mediums, but we're actually extra larges. All right. Joyous Ocean, where is your question? I feel like I'm skipping people here again. Hang on a minute. Let me scroll back. Joyous Ocean. I don't see your question. That's the thing. I don't think there is a question from Joyous Ocean yet. Ah, here we are. Ah, Audrey, I'm wondering no more. My mother always used to ask me why everyone else was better, smarter, etc. than me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow, yeah, there it is. That would be it. Yeah, so sorry. Cassandra, you are very welcome. Joyous Ocean, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than a year. When I was younger, I would gain weight to hide from unwanted attention from older men. Audrey M., the price I pay for a narcissist as a mother. Yeah, facts. Sorry. I am so sorry. So sorry. Joyous Ocean, did you have a question? Did anyone else have a question? I guess we are coming to last call for readings, y'all, it would seem. So let's go back over and, here it is. You don't have to go anywhere. Joyous Ocean. I'm wondering what I'm hiding from right now. What am I afraid of? It's all in increments. It's the thing that you're doing. It's the things that you're doing. Joyous Ocean says, I'm so hopeful about so many things, but I think I coast in content area instead of thriving in greatness. Oh, I coast in content instead of thriving in greatness and excellence. I'm hiding in plain sight. Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Yes. What can I do to expand my hopes and address my fears? This could be ancestral. This could be the ancestral fear of not wanting to be noticed because being noticed could create bad things. Right? Your whole thing is you need to lead. You're a thought leader. You need to be seen. But to be seen is like equals danger. right? And so I think it's sort of recognizing that the dangers of being seen right now for you are minimal, but they're going to feel maximum. That's what I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. And Joyce Ocean says, ooh, yeah, very cool, right? All right. My friends, I want to thank you so much for being here. It is last call for readings, y'all. I hope I didn't skip anyone. If I did, let me know. We've got our members only live stream coming up tonight, 7 p.m. Link is already up. Please join us. We're doing deep dive readings, so bring your deepest, most interesting questions. And if you're not a member, now's a good time to become a member so you can join us this evening. Special shout out to the members, to the moderators. I really, really appreciate all of you. Thanks for being here. Audrey, so glad I stumbled on this today. Yes. Heather, I hate that mothers can be terrible to their kids. Mine used to tell me I would get what I deserved someday because she thought things were too easy for me. I'm so sorry, Audrey. And you know, even the best intentioned mothers, like it's so weird. Like we have our babies when we're at our like most stupid, right? Like what did I know when I was in my 20s, right? And so even when you're well-intentioned, and I know we have a lot of young mothers here who are probably doing a much better job with their kids than these, right? I know that. But I also know, like from the perspective of being a grandmother, I would love to go back and just do things a little bit differently. I mean, I was a pretty conscious mom. I tried to be a very loving mom. But even loving moms say and do things that they later on regret. And then there's the generational stuff. You know, I had a great mom, but she would say to me, if you want to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. From the perspective of 2024, that's horrible. That's a terrible thing to say to your kid. So, gosh, it's a lot and it's hard. And I guess we all have to heal from the first 20 years. And I guess every parent will give their kids something to tell a therapist. But I think it's true that the generation I see parenting now, the young parents in their 20s and 30s now are doing a great job, especially as compared to what I saw in my generation and my parents' generation. So as a planet, we're getting better. I can tell you that. That I'm sure of. All right, my friends, tonight we have our members only live stream. Tomorrow, we'll be back with the Friday weekly wrap up. The links for all of that are up. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you. We'll see you soon.